Good evening, everyone. It's an honor and a privilege to be here and for NDTV to be partnering with StarPick. It's great to see, Ulf sitting here. I've been a big fan. I had no idea he was associated with this. Maybe, quote unquote, it's a sign of things to come. Oh, who knows? Having said that, this is a suggestion to you. I wonder why you guys split up. Maybe you need to have a StarPick of musicians as well. Maybe that way we'll get to see Ace of Base back again. Probably that's the only way to see them back. It's great to have all of you here. It's great to have these legends here. But, all of you mentioned right at the start that next time you pick a fantasy team and the next big event that's coming up is the IPL. But, I'd beg to differ because the next big event where you can pick the fantasy team is right now. This is the fantasy team, right? Imagine all of them playing in the same team together. And I include VVS and Jonty in that, considering how fit they look even now. I'm sure they could still play the 20 overs. So it's great to be in Bangalore. The last time I was here was just 2 weeks ago. And I was talking to another legend. He needs no introduction, Sachin Tendulkar. And before I pick their brains about the IPL, about StarPick, about the Fantasy League, I'm also going to talk a bit about that tape. But before I do all of that, I want you to hear this interesting story that Sachin had to say about the man who's sitting right next to me, Harbhajan Singh. This is the only time that I met him after that. So I want to confirm if the story is correct or not. Can we have that video, please?
When I saw him in 94, 95, he hadn't played for India then. And Navjot Singh Sidhu kept talking about this. एक मुंडा है in his Punjabi style. एक मुंडा है, बहुत अच्छा bowling करता है, देख लेना. So I was batting and Harbhajan came, bowled. Couple of times also came and he stood in front of me saying, Ji Paji. I said, what? What happened? Go back and bowl. So he went back and he started bowling. And that happened literally 3-4 times by the time we finished that session. And then when Harbhajan played for India after 3 years or so, and we got to know each other, and he said, Paji, ek baat kehni hai aapko. I said, yeah, tell me what. He said, no, that time I felt that you were actually calling me. And that's why I came and I stood there. But then I figured out myself, कि हर ball खेलने के पहले आप आपका helmet adjust करते हैं. You do like this. So I said, anyway, अगली बार ऐसे करके बुलाऊंगा तो you better come. Don't think कि I'm just adjusting my helmet. You better come. So that was, but I only got to know after 3-4 years.
Okay, true story.
सचिन झूठ थोड़ी बोलेगा यार. I was in Bangalore. I was bowling to him, and every time, मैं उनको bowling करता था तो वो ऐसे करके एक तो helmet adjust करते मुझे लगता मुझे बुलाया ऐसे. मैं एक बार चला गया क्या फिर चला गया तो ये actually हुआ था. उसके अलावा सचिन कुछ और भी करता. I don't know what does it mean though.
We all know he's a great mimic. Okay, just let me run you through the drill. We're going to be talking to them for the next 45 minutes. It's going to be a bit of English and a bit of Hindi because we're going to be airing both of these in both our platforms on NDTV, both in English and in Hindi. But I'll start with English because I believe that's the language that most of the people in the audience understand. I'll start with Rohit and Dinesh, both of you. Just a week back or so, you were on the same side, fighting together to win a match. A week from now, you'd be in opposite end, fighting against each other. How does that work? Rohit, we'll start with you. You ready?
He's man of the hour, so I think he should start first.
Okay, we'll let Dinesh start.
Look, I think, all people on the stage have been playing IPL for about 10 years now, and that's always the case, We're all playing for about a good 10 months together, and then once you hit the IPL, you kind of go against each other. So, it's been a norm. We're used to it. Must say it brings out the best in us, and we try our best to make sure we get better than the opposition. But it's a lot of fun. As Rohit rightly said, it's kind of brought the country together. It's like a big mela happening at that point of time. Everybody's watching the sport, no matter where you go. The shops, the bars, everybody's playing the sport. So it's a good, fun time of the year to be in. I even heard movies don't release really during that time. So we kind of rule the whole of India at that time. And it's a privilege and great fun to be part of, and it's something that's been very special for all of cricketers.
Rohit, have you gotten used to it after 10 years of IPL? Like, weeks change and then teammates become almost adversaries.
Yeah, see, like he said, for the 10 months of the year of the year we played together, and then the next 2 months, which is IPL, we disperse to our own franchise, and we play against each other, we compete against each other. So in a way, it is fun, for the people also to watch, Indian players playing against each other. It is kind of fun, and yes, not just me, but everyone sitting here, they're used to it now, and yeah, I mean, it's like what Dinesh said. It's kind of fun, and there's always a banter going amongst each other as well. So it is kind of interesting. So we all love it.
Yeah.
Also, there's a lot of mini battles now. Like, how often can you see Harbhajan Singh bowl to a Gambhir in a match, or a Virat Kohli go up against Rohit in a match? I mean, it's small battles. You have to admit there's a little bit of ego there. Both the cricketer in them comes out. They want to do their best, and they somehow want to win. So these are small battles. Generally, those days you could play Ranji Trophy and you had a lot of time, but these days with the scheduling, you don't play much domestic cricket against each other. So, when you see all this happening, a Bhuvneshwar Kumar bowling to a Rohit, or a Bumrah bowling to a Virat Kohli, it's fun to watch, and it's proper challenge. And, I'm sure each one wants to get the best out of each other, but it's a lot of fun watching these small mini battles that constantly happen.
Since Rohit said you're the man of the moment, were those the most important 8 balls that you've ever played in a cricketing career?
Yeah, definitely. I think, as I said before, I think it became the most important 8 balls in my career, but a lot of people tend to forget the stuff that I've done before that. For me to have played those 8 balls with that much confidence, I think a lot of what I did before that has helped me do it.
Okay. Rohit, you played a major role in him playing that knock, because you didn't send him up the order. I believe he wasn't really happy about it. Was that also part of a plan, that you wanted to keep him, make him a bit angry, and he takes out that anger on the ball?
I remember when I got out, I came and sat in the dugout just next to him, and I explained him why I wanted him to bat down the order, because I knew that he's got experience, and the kind of bowlers the opposition had, he can handle them better because of his experience. Not that the other guys cannot play, just because of his experience. And I told him, I want this from you. So, the last 3 overs will be critical. So I could clearly make out that he was not happy, and he was a little upset, because I'm sure, since South Africa tour, he was waiting for that chance to bat up the order. He didn't get to play in South Africa as well. So, I can understand. I've gone through that many a times. And you want to be out there and face as many balls as possible. But I had something else in my mind, so that was probably the reason to just held him back, for the last 3 overs. But yes, I'm sure he was very happy after what he did.
I'm going to get into the IPL, but we're so, still hungover with that knock. The final question I want to ask about that particular knock is, I believe another man who's sitting to your left played a major role in your transformation. You've spoken about it, VVS Laxman. Could you tell our audience as well how he's helped you turn around your career?
First of all,
VVS doesn't know, because he's raising his eyebrows. He said, I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, he wasn't sure I said this somewhere else, and he's not comfortable with me, talking about the fact that, what he said. It happened actually last year after I had played my last match was against Sunrisers, and we played in Kanpur, and in the lunch area, I was just standing next to him, and we were generally discussing about cricket, and then he mentioned that, look, the stage where you are in your cricket, it's not about a good-looking 30 or a 40. That's for an under-19, under-20 cricketer to, be doing. At your stage, it's not even a grade 50 or 100, in fact. It's about able to win matches. It's about able to take the pressure and win matches. And almost any match you play, you get into the habit of winning it, and that is what will set you apart at this stage in your career. So I thought it was very profound advice at that, what he said. I hadn't heard that before. I'm sure he also followed it towards the end of his career, and for him to pass it on was, it kind of sparked me up, like, yeah, wow, that's a great point. And I've kind of followed it upon from there. It's not like you can win a match every time you bat, but you try and do it. So I'm always indebted to him and grateful. He's always shy. He doesn't like me talking about this, but yeah, I mean, he really helped me during that phase.
Okay, he deserves a round of applause too. We all clap for DK, but it was VVS who actually helped you. Okay, I'm going to talk about the IPL, and I have to ask Jonty this. You've been associated with the IPL, if I'm not wrong, since its inception. No? From year 2, so almost 9 years is what. Why not this time? Why wouldn't we see Jonty?
Good question. I've been coming back to India for as long as year 2, or year 3, beg your pardon. Year 2 was in South Africa. And there's incredible opportunity in India. I see a great deal of India. So from snowboarding in Kashmir to houseboating in Kerala to surfing in Mangalore, surfing in Vizag. So, I get to see as much of India as possible. And in that, I've been exposed to some incredible people, and I have this amazing network in India, which I don't think I've ever utilized. Cricket for me has always been sheltered employment, because I was supposed to be a batsman, but I was a fielder. So people were quite happy if I saved runs in the field, that he's done his job. So the time now for me literally to grow up and possibly move away slightly from cricket, which is, as I said, I'm very grateful that StarPick has pulled me back towards the game, because it is in my system and that will never leave. But also it's a case of being in India, where for 4 months of the year that I'm here, if I devote the time with an IPL franchise as I have with Mumbai Indians, there is no time for anything else. Because you might watch the players hit that 6 or the 8 balls that they face, and as DK rightly said, it wasn't just that situation. It was the work that's been built in before that's happened. And I see these guys practice and put in effort, and they play. You travel across India. I mean, let's face it, if you traveled in India on an aeroplane, you know how difficult a day off is, because it's not really a day off. To get from one end of India to the next is quite interesting at times. So from my perspective, having seen these players put in the preparation, if they've played the game, they then get the off day. They get the optional of an off day. As a coaching staff, there's 27 players in your squad. Those other 16 guys, they want to play tomorrow. So they want to come down to practice. So for the entire IPL, you work every single day. So for, if you get to the final, then it's close to 60 days it's 2 months at least. And in that time, you're totally devoted to your job at hand. So that's the only reason why I've walked away or resigned from my coaching role with Mumbai Indians, is that I really want to utilize the time that I spend in India in growing my future. And from a business point of view, very grateful that there's a platform like StarPick where I can still give back something to the game, but also move forward in a totally different environment.
Maybe a commentary role, that will allow you a few days off.
Oh no, I got the perfect face for radio, so commentary's out.
Okay, if we were to have a Mumbai Indians reunion, we could have it right here, because I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4 Mumbai. Rohit, as it is the most successful IPL franchise in the history, do you sometimes fear that these guys will let your trade secret out? Now they have gone to different franchises.
I've worked with them enough to have that trust, and what stays in Mumbai will stay in Mumbai. So that I'm pretty sure of. Yeah, stays in Mumbai.
Okay, talking about shifting teams, Dinesh Karthik has shifted teams. Gautam, I want your input on that. He's now taken over a team that you so successfully captained. One tip, if you had to give him, how to deal with let's say the Kolkata fans were like crazy, or anything else, what to eat, what not to eat. What is the tip that you will give him now that he's taking up your role?
Look, I'm sure he's going to have the most loyal crowd in the country. I think Kolkata, when I joined Kolkata, obviously we started off from the scratch, literally, and then we didn't have 3 successful years, but I'm sure they stuck to it. They stuck to the team as well. They've been the most loyal crowd, the most passionate crowd as well, and I'm sure he's going to get a great reception there as well, and he's going to enjoy every bit of it. And it's a great franchise to work with and great people to work with. Eden Gardens, it's always a great feeling when you walk onto to a stadium like Eden Gardens with capacity crowd. I'm sure he's going to have great fun.
Okay, now let's talk about the Fantasy League, which is why we're here. I played the Fantasy Sport League in every possible sport, be it cricket, football. What I really wanted to know is, have any of you ever played that, even while playing the sport, let's say in the IPL? Of course, now I'll start playing just on StarPick, not on the other platforms that I used to. But have you ever played fantasy, any of you? Have you ever? Have you seen how it works? Or?
No, I don't know how it works, but...
You got an idea today, though?
Yes, I got the idea, but I would like to get on to it and see what I can do on it. But Rohit is, all of us, he plays quite a lot of football on Fantasy League. So.
Oh, you play a lot of football?
I play a lot of football because that is the only time that I get some time to get away from cricket, hence not cricket. But with StarPick, I will get involved in cricket as well. But I've been involved in fantasy gaming for the past 4 or 5 years, and it's all my childhood friends that I play with.
This is in football only.
Yeah, football, and it is.
So you pick all the Real Madrid players.
No, this is for English Premier League, so
okay.
it is EPL.
Yeah.
Because La Liga, we don't
Man
get.
United.
No. EPL.
He is a
Chelsea,
Madrid
but
fan,
I'm a
is it?
Madrid fan.
Yeah.
Hardcore Madrid fan.
Yeah.
We don't get to watch La Liga so much here because of the time
Timing,
difference.
yeah.
But I do catch on some, not some actually, a lot of EPL games. So hence, all of us get into fantasy gaming, and it is quite intense with all my friends.
Yes.
They take it very seriously. So, as we know, English Premier League happens during the weekend. So my Thursdays and Fridays are very busy getting the team right. So, I have to watch what has happened previous week on Saturday and Sunday, which player is in form, what XYZ is doing, midfielders, your forwards and things like that. So I'm sure it's going to be the same in cricket as well. Right. It will give audience, great exposure to understand, what it is like to, be not like an owner, but just to own the team and, make those changes, see the current form of the player and things like that. Because when I experienced it, I was experiencing as if, I'm a fan. So it will allow them to do the same. So yes, it is quite addictive as well, because, come Thursday, my mind starts working on this fantasy game. So, it is quite intense, and all my buddies, if they're watching this show, they're going to love it.
Yeah, I mean, it is addictive. I agree with you. Any one of you play? I know R. Ashwin is one cricketer who plays even while the IPL is on, because he keeps tweeting about the players he's picked, which one he dropped. He drops himself sometimes. So I see that. Any of you ever played that? Jonty, you never?
No, I must confess, I am have not been a fantasy league player. But fortunately, my role within the fantasy league, and especially with StarPick, is about providing information. So, yeah, I'm that go-to guy. I don't have the expertise. I've never captained a team. I have never captained a team before, for one very good reason.
Okay.
I'll leave that to your imagination.
And now you'll have enough time also, since you're not involved in the IPL and a team.
Yeah, lots of time.
Okay. So just to get an idea of how you will pick your fantasy team, I'll do this rapid fire where I'll ask you one-word questions, all of you. So the question remains the same. I'll start with Bhaji, go to Gauti, and then Dinesh, and like that, right? So I'll start with you. The first question, if you were to make a StarPick Fantasy 11 for the IPL, which player will you select every single time? And you can't talk about yourself. One player, and because in Fantasy League you can pick from any team. One player that will be the first name you'll put.
Latis Malinga.
Okay.
Chris Morris.
Andy Russell.
They're all picking their own team players. You can pick any player. Yeah. Because it's a fantasy league.
So Latis Malinga is nowhere.
Yeah.
He's not part of any team.
But yeah, you want this year or?
This year. Yes. Correct.
I'm quite interested to see what Rashid Khan has to offer, so I'll pick him.
Okay.
For me, Bhuvneshwar Kumar.
First player. Good choice, Jonty.
AB de Villiers.
Okay. Will you ever pick yourself in the fantasy team that you make?
Not me.
No. So this question is not for VVS and Jonty, who aren't playing anymore. The ones who are still playing.
Depends on my form, as Rohit mentioned.
Okay. Gautam, what about you?
I will.
Okay.
I picked myself and I failed badly once. So I won't try it again.
Okay, Rohit.
I have to be honest to myself. Only if I'm doing well, I'll pick myself. Otherwise.
Okay. Be a true selector. Yeah. Right. Okay, let me ask you a different way. If you were playing VVS, would you have picked yourself?
No.
Never. Okay, because it was T20. Maybe it was a test match, you'd pick yourself every time. Okay. If there was a player from the past that you could bring back from retirement and play in the fantasy league, which would be that player? It could be anyone.
Viv Richard.
Viv Richards, yeah, good choice. Gautam?
To think about it.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Dinesh?
Definitely, sir, Gary Sobers.
All-rounder, would do everything, yeah.
I'm a fan of Adam Gilchrist, so I would want him to come back.
Would come. Okay, PVS?
For me, Kapil Dev.
Kapil Dev, yeah, he would have made a great T20 cricketer.
We had a chap called the Zulu in South Africa,
Yes.
Lance Klusener. I would have given him a nod.
Okay, real good choices. I wish they were all playing. We could have seen them play even the IPL now. Okay, Gautam, back to you.
Maybe Lance Klusener.
Klusener, good choice. Okay, an IPL debutant you're really looking forward to seeing this season.
Shubman Gill.
Gautam, you?
Yeah, we've got Abhishek Sharma. I've heard a lot about him, that he's a quality all-rounder, so really looking forward to him.
I'm very interested in a leg spinner from Nepal, Lami Chane, so I just want to see how he goes.
Okay. This time he hasn't picked a player from your own team.
I don't have any single name, but all the under-19 kids who played the World Cup, I'm quite keen to see, especially the fast bowlers.
Right.
Yeah, same here. Because all of them
Shivam,
are
Mavi,
exceptionally
Nagarkoti.
talented. Yeah, it's a great platform for them to exhibit their potential. Really excited about them playing this IPL.
Okay. Jonty?
I have no particular preference. I like the leg spinners, especially from countries that are smaller and people don't know much about them.
Right.
So the young leggy from Nepal, it'll be interesting to see how he goes.
Okay, final question of the rapid fire. You got to pick the team that's looking the strongest on paper in the IPL other than your team.
Kings 11, I think.
Okay. Gautam?
Chennai.
Okay.
I think Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Okay.
I think Delhi.
All
For
different
me, Kings 11.
things left. All right, Jonty, to you.
Oh, Chennai.
Chennai. Yeah, actually, I think Chennai is the only one which got.
No, I think Mumbai is also very strong.
You're saying that because you played for them for so many years.
No, they are always been a very strong team, and you have to choose one. So I chose Kings, but Mumbai has always been very, very
I'm
strong.
not liking Bajjuba when Bajjuba is saying they, because he was
He
part
was
of
part of
Mumbai
you.
Indians, yeah.
We.
Okay, we have some more IPL questions. I'll get back to them a little later, but before that, I want to talk about the biggest topic right now in cricket. Jonty, I'd want to start with you because it's happening in your country, and you did make a reference of it while being here on stage. Just tell us what's going back there. We don't know. I mean, there's plenty of buzz here in India, but you must be speaking to a few friends there. What's the situation there?
No, I'm not speaking to a few friends. I've only got one.
Okay.
And he's sitting here next to you on the stage. So
Right.
my friends are very limited. I think in South Africa, the interesting thing for me is having landed in India while it's been going on, there was concern or reaction in South Africa, but nothing like it's been here in India. And I think from that perspective, we all as players have played against Australia. And maybe the Indian public and the press are really enjoying for the first time.
Yes.
We've got India under the heel. So we're making the most, as I say, us Indians, we are making the most of it. But yeah, in South Africa, I mean, the test match actually carried on. Nobody was kicked out, nobody was banned, the match wasn't called off or forfeited. South Africa just went on and played very good cricket.
Rohit, as he's saying, that he's surprised there's more action here in India, at least being spoken about, than it's even there in South Africa. Are you surprised with the kind of reaction this has got? Because it's not the first time an issue like that has come up. Ball tampering has been happening for so long, it's been caught on camera so many years. Why is this different from any other time?
Honestly, I don't know, because firstly, it is absolutely unfair on me to comment anything about what is happening in South Africa, because to be honest, we exactly don't know the story, why this happened, and we only get to hear things. But yes, I mean, we all know, our Indian media is so strong, so they obviously want something. So this is something that for us, for me in particularly, little irrelevant to speak about, because I have no idea about what exactly happened, and unless I get to the bottom of it, I won't be able to speak on it.
But this one is pretty clear because it was on camera and the teams have come out and said that yes, we did it. So it's not something that was hidden. It's not that people don't know what happened. It was on camera and the captain himself says yes, we did it. We're sorry about it. But my question was, Are you surprised with the buzz? Because like I said, it's not happened for the first time. It's happened so many
Yeah,
times.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Jonty, you wanted to comment, sorry.
No, I just think to put things in perspective, in South Africa, there was quite a bit of animosity that was taking place on the field between the two teams.
Right.
And the spectators then got involved. So Darren Lehman, the coach of Australia, then was talking about how bad the South African spectators are. And again, as players who've toured to Australia, we know that when you're standing on a field in Australia, they're not saying nice things about your game at all to you. So in South Africa, it was just kind of a, you know, the reaction was not only about the fact that they were using tape to alter the condition of the ball, was the fact that in the lead up to the game, the Australians had been complaining that South African public were too harsh on their players. And, you know, everyone was just going, well, man, you guys dish it out all the time, so why can't you take it? So I think that was also a lot of the reason why the animosity that grew in South Africa, and possibly that's permeated across continents, has been because Australia for a long time have always dished it out, and suddenly they're on the receiving end, and they're saying, well, hold on, but you guys weren't so nice, or we've said we're sorry, just move on.
Yeah. Okay, a valid point. Vives, I'd like your point, and I'd like you to put your commentator's hat on. Like he says, because of the things leading up, and I'm not just going to talk about the South Africa series, as Jonty mentions, you know, plenty of things happen, ugly incidents happen before that. Even when they were here in India, there were a few, you know, issues that happened with it. Had this not happened, this build-up not happened, do you think we wouldn't have paid too much attention to what's happening with the Australian team?
I think everyone is paying a lot of attention because of the backlash, what's happening in Australia. India media, all the media across the world, the cricketing fraternity is affected by this incident. It's not only the Australian team, because it's a huge damage to the figure of cricket. You know, and I think it also boils down to what happened last year when South Africa were touring Australia and Faf du Plessis was caught on camera using the mint to shine the ball. And the same Australian players went after him, said that it was not ethical, you know, he's crossed the line. And the same players, when they indulge in what they felt was wrong, so they're contradicting themselves, you know. And I think because of that, and the backlash in Australia, I can understand that, because I played a lot of cricket against Australians, and you know how much pride they have wearing that baggy green. And that's why they're deeply hurt, you know, because this is a case of cheating. And Steve Smith, they themselves accepted it. So I think because of the backlash, I feel that everyone is hurt. But the moral of the story is not about ball tampering. Right. The moral of the story is, as cricketers, past or present, you've got your role models. Right. You know, and without even knowing, you affect what youngsters, what people who love you think, and each and every action of yours will have a huge impact on their minds, you know, and you're representing country. It's almost like you're ambassadors of your country, you know, and that's why, including the Prime Minister is hurt, the entire citizens and countrymen of Australia are hurt, and that's why this is the huge build-up. Okay. One thing which we as cricketers should always remember is, when you're playing sport, especially at the highest level, you have to be competitive. And I've not known even one player with whom I played with or against who doesn't want to win when he goes on the cricket field. Right. But at what cost? You know, you have to play aggressive cricket, you have to do everything possible to win, but you never ever cheat or you never ever cross the line. But unfortunately, over the last 1 year, this Australian team has crossed the line. And I was commentating in Bangalore, the Bangalore test match, and it was very obvious that Steve Smith was looking at the dressing room before taking the referral. And it was caught, you know, and he mentioned about brain fade. And 1 year down the line, again, they've done something silly. And why would you do that? You know, because especially such a proud cricketing nation, you don't want your nation to be hurt. And that's why the backlash from Australia, and that's why the backlash from the entire cricketing fraternity. Because I can guarantee you, it's not only the Australians who are suffering at the moment, but all the cricketers around the world. It's almost like match fixing. You know, around the world, when match fixing broke, everyone were hurt. Because cricket is emotion. And it's very similar, because you have players who represent the country doing this.
Okay.